Thank you for listening to my short rant. Should Kamala Harris becomes the President of the United States? If Joe Biden were to die before his term as President of the United States is completed, there is a constitutionally mandated line of succession that would be followed. Vice President. The Vice President would assume the presidency. Given that Kamala Harris is the Vice President currently serving under President Joe Biden, she would become the next to become President of the United States. Speaker of the House. If both the President and the Vice President are unable to serve, the Speaker of the House would be next in line to become President. As of September 2021, Nancy Pelosi holds this position. God save us if Nancy Pelosi ascends the presidency. President pro tempore of the Senate. This is a largely ceremonial role traditionally held by the longest-serving member of the majority party in the Senate. This position is currently held by Peter Welch. After these positions, the line of succession continues through the cabinet, starting with the Secretary of State, then the Secretary of the Treasury, and so on. It's worth noting that any individual ascending to the presidency through the line of succession would only serve for the remainder of the term, and would have to be elected in the next general election to continue serving. In addition to the constitutional and legal processes, there would be significant political, economic, and social ramifications both domestically and internationally, depending on the circumstances surrounding the president's death. While she has her fair share of supporters, albeit probably not many, there were also many people who expressed reservations about her potentially becoming president. Here's an extended explanation of some of the criticisms and concerns that have been raised about Kamala Harris. Prosecutorial record. Prior to her political career in the Senate and as Vice President, Harris served as the District Attorney of San Francisco and then as the Attorney General of California. Some critics argue that during her tenure, she was overly harsh on low-level drug offenses and failed to adequately address misconduct within police departments. Particularly in the age of the Black Lives Matter movement and calls for criminal justice reform, Harris's record as a prosecutor has been scrutinized. Flip-flopping on policy. Throughout her career, Harris has been accused of changing her position on various policies to fit the prevailing political winds. For instance, her stance on healthcare shifted during the 2020 Democratic primaries, causing some to question the sincerity of her policy commitments. Performance in the primaries. Harris began her presidential bid for the 2020 Democratic nomination as one of the frontrunners but withdrew before primary voting began due to dwindling poll numbers and lack of funds. Some see her inability to gain traction with voters during the primary as a sign that she might not be the most electable candidate in a general presidential election. General political ideology. Some conservatives and Republicans find Harris's political positions too liberal or progressive. They worry about her stances on issues like healthcare, gun control, and immigration, and fear that she would push for policies that they believe are not in the best interest of the country. Lack of executive experience. Before becoming vice president, Harris had not held an executive office. Some believe that executive roles, like governorships, better prepare candidates for the presidency than legislative roles do, as they give individuals experience in managing large organizations and making unilateral decisions. Media treatment. Some critics believe that Harris has been given favorable treatment by the mainstream media, arguing that she hasn't been held to the same standard as other politicians. This perceived media bias has resulted in skepticism about her qualifications and abilities. Personal style and presentation. Like many politicians, Harris's style and way of presenting herself have drawn both support and criticism. Some find her to be charismatic and compelling, while others feel she can come across as inauthentic or rehearsed. It's worth noting that no politician is universally liked or disliked. Harris has a large number of supporters who appreciate her groundbreaking role as the first woman, first black woman, and first person of South Asian descent to be vice president. They admire her for her tenacity, intelligence, and commitment to public service. However, like all public figures, she also has her detractors. Always ensure that when evaluating a political figure, multiple sources are consulted to get a holistic view of their career and achievements.